Don't bother coming to the reunion, my sister texted. We don't need your drama. I quietly transferred the $40,000 I had donated to the family fund back to my account. Hours later, their caterer canceled, the venue locked up, and my sister's message popped up. Please, can we talk? I was standing in my kitchen, staring at the final invoice for the reunion's floral arrangements. The cursor hovered over the Pay Now button. I'd already covered the venue, the caterer, the welcome gifts, and even the printed name cards. This last payment would wrap it all up. I took a breath, ready to click. Then my phone buzzed. I glanced down, expecting a confirmation from the decorator. Instead, I saw my sister's name. Just one message. 10 words. Don't bother coming to the reunion. We don't need your drama. No emojis. No punctuation. Just cold, flat text. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just stared at the screen, waiting for it to change, to correct itself, to follow up with, sorry, wrong person, or just kidding. But it didn't. It stayed there like a slap that lingered long after the sting. I didn't reply. I didn't ask what she meant. I didn't scroll up to see if I'd missed something. I just closed the invoice, shut my laptop, and walked to the window. The garden was quiet. The roses were blooming. My mother used to say they bloomed best when the soil was disturbed. I wondered if that applied to people too. I made tea, chamomile, no sugar. I didn't want caffeine. I wanted calm. I sat by the window, watching the steam rise, letting the silence settle around me. The reunion had been my idea. I'd pitched it during a family Zoom call last spring. Everyone had smiled, nodded, clapped. My sister had said, "You're amazing for organizing this." I'd taken on the logistics. Venue, catering, decorations, even the welcome gifts. I'd wired $40,000 into the family fund without hesitation. No one asked me to. No one thanked me either. But I did it because I believed in family. I believed in showing up. Now I was being asked not to. I opened my banking app. The balance stared back at me. I scrolled to the transaction history, found the wire transfer, and clicked reverse. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was quiet. Clean. Final. The money slid back into my account like it had never left. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt clear. I thought about the word drama. What did she mean? Was it drama when I asked for a vegetarian option at the last reunion? Was it drama when I suggested we rotate hosting duties so it wasn't always her? Was it drama when I asked why my name was left off the planning committee email? Or was it drama simply because I existed outside their mold? I didn't know. I didn't care. I remembered the last reunion. I'd worn a navy dress with pearl buttons. My niece had whispered to her friend, "She looks like a flight attendant." They giggled. I'd brought handmade candles as gifts. My brother said, "Oh, you're still doing that little hobby?" I'd offered to help with cleanup. My cousin handed me a trash bag and said, "You're good at this." I'd smiled through it all. I told myself it was just teasing. Just family being family. But it wasn't. It was dismissal. It was exclusion. It was a pattern. This time I wasn't going to beg for a seat. I didn't reply to her message. I didn't call my mother to ask what was going on. I didn't text my nephew to see if he knew anything. I chose silence. Not out of pride. Out of self-respect. I turned off my phone, finished my tea, and went to bed. At midnight the landline rang. I hadn't heard it ring in months. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. I picked up. "Hi, this is Mark from Willow Creek Events. I just wanted to confirm, did you cancel the payment for the reunion venue?" I paused. "Yes," I said. "Oh. Well, without the payment we'll have to release the booking. I'll send a confirmation email." "Thank you," I said. I hung up. 5 minutes later my inbox pinged. The caterer had emailed. "We regret to inform you that due to non-payment, we are canceling the order for the Weston family reunion scheduled next week." I stared at the screen. I didn't feel smug. I didn't feel cruel. I felt resolved. I walked back to the kitchen, poured another cup of tea, and sat down. The house was quiet. The garden was still. My heart wasn't racing. It was steady. The next morning I woke up to 5 missed calls. 2 from my sister. 1 from my mother. 1 from my cousin. 1 from the venue manager. I didn't answer any of them. I went for a walk. The air was crisp. The sun was gentle. I passed the bakery and bought a croissant. The woman behind the counter smiled and said, "You look peaceful today." I smiled back. "I am." When I got home, my phone buzzed again. A message from my sister. "Please, can we talk?" I didn't reply. Not yet. Let her sit in the silence. Let her feel the absence. Let her understand that I wasn't just a name on a guest list. I was the one who made the list possible. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was done pretending. Later that afternoon, I received a call from my nephew. He was always kind to me even when others weren't. "Auntie," he said gently, "did you take the money back?" "I did," I said. He didn't judge me. He just sighed and said, "I understand." That moment meant more than any apology. I opened my journal and wrote, "I am no longer funding my own rejection." Felt good to see it in ink. I spent the rest of the day in the garden. I trimmed the roses, watered the herbs, and sat under the maple tree with a book. The sun filtered through the leaves, casting soft shadows on the pages. I felt light. I felt free. That evening my sister called again. I let it ring. Then she texted, "I didn't mean it. I was upset. I thought you'd make things complicated." I didn't reply. Because I wasn't the one who made things complicated. I was the one who made things possible. And now I was the one who made them stop. I hadn't touched my phone in hours. It sat face down on the kitchen counter, buzzing every few minutes like a mosquito I refused to swat. The messages were coming in fast now, my sister's tone shifting from sharp to desperate. "Please, can we talk? What happened to the fund? Did you cancel the payments?" I didn't respond. I didn't even open them. She'd built the stage, cast the roles, and shoved me off it. Now the curtain was falling and I wasn't going to rush in to fix the props. I poured myself another cup of tea, this time with a splash of honey. The sweetness helped. Outside, the wind had picked up, rustling the maple leaves against the window pane. It was the kind of day that made you reflect, not just on what happened but on what you allowed to happen for too long. Then came the group chat explosion. "Why is the venue closed? Who canceled the caterer? Where's the money?" My cousin from Atlanta chimed in, confused. My aunt from Toronto asked if the reunion was postponed. Even my mother, who rarely typed more than a thumbs-up emoji, wrote, "Is this a joke?" My sister tried to control the narrative. "Just a glitch with the payment system. We're sorting it out. No need to panic." But someone, bless them, remembered I'd paid for everything. Didn't she cover the costs? Wasn't it all under her name? Why would the payments bounce? The questions turned toward her. I watched it unfold like a movie. No popcorn. Just quiet satisfaction. Then my landline rang again. I picked up, expecting another vendor. But it was my nephew Daniel. "Auntie," he said softly, "did you take the money back?" I paused. I did. He didn't react. No gasp. No judgment. Just a long, thoughtful silence. "After your mom told me not to come," I added. He sighed. "I understand." That moment, those two words, meant more than any apology. Daniel had always seen me. Even as a child, he'd sit beside me during reunions, ask about my work, help me carry trays. He never treated me like the extra sibling. He treated me like family. "I'm sorry," he said. "She shouldn't have done that." "I'm not angry," I replied. "I'm just done pretending." We hung up. I felt lighter. Around 4 p.m. the doorbell rang. I opened it to find my sister standing there, mascara smudged, shoulders slumped, clutching her phone like a lifeline. "I didn't mean it," she whispered. I didn't say anything. I stepped aside and let her in. She walked slowly as if unsure she was welcome. We sat in the living room, the silence stretching between us like a tightrope. "I was angry," she said. "I thought you'd make things complicated." I raised an eyebrow. "Complicated how?" She looked down. "You always ask questions. You want things fair. You suggest changes. It's exhausting." I nodded. "So you decided to cut me out." "I didn't think you'd actually pull the money," she admitted. I leaned back. "You didn't think I mattered." She flinched. "That's not true. Isn't it?" She didn't answer. I let the silence linger. It wasn't cruel. It was necessary. "I didn't come here to beg," she said finally. "I came because I want the reunion to happen. And I know it can't without you." I studied her face. She looked tired. Not just physically but emotionally. like someone who'd carried a mask too long and finally let it slip. "I'm not interested in hosting a reunion where I'm invisible," I said. "I know," she whispered. "I'm not interested in being the wallet without a voice." "I know. I'm not interested in being tolerated." She looked up. "I don't want you to be tolerated. I want you to be there. Really there." I didn't respond. I needed more than words. "I'll fix it," she said. "I'll tell them the truth. I'll tell them I messed up." I folded my hands. "You've messed up before." "I know," she said. "But this time I'll own it." I gave her a choice. Respect or rejection. "I'll reinstate the payments," I said. "But only if you acknowledge what you've done. Not just this week. For years." She nodded slowly. The exclusion. The mockery. The silence. I didn't prompt her. She said it on her own. "I made you feel small," she continued. "I made you feel like you didn't belong. And you still showed up. You still helped. You still gave." Her voice cracked. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." I looked at her. "Maybe not. But you've earned my attention." She cried. Not loud sobs. Just quiet tears that slipped down her cheeks like confession. For the first time I believed her. Not because she was desperate, but because she was honest. We sat there for a while. No reunion talk. No logistics. Just two sisters finally facing the truth. Before she left, she turned to me. "Will you come?" "I'll think about it," I said. She nodded. "That's fair." As the door closed behind her, I felt something shift. Not just in her, but in me. I wasn't the forgotten sister anymore. I was the one who made the house of cards fall. And maybe, just maybe, I'd help rebuild it. But only if the foundation was respect. The door clicked shut behind my sister and I stood still for a moment, letting the silence settle. The house felt different. Lighter, as if it had exhaled with me. I walked to the kitchen, poured the last of the tea into my cup and sat at the table where this all began. The same table where I'd read her message. The same table where I'd taken the money back. And now the same place where I'd decided to give her a second chance. But on my terms. I opened my laptop and pulled up the venue's website. The reservation form was still open, the cursor blinking in the name of event organizer field. I deleted the old entry and typed in my full name, Evelyn M. Weston. I paused, then added family reunion host beneath it. A small act, but it felt monumental. I reviewed the layout options. No more long banquet tables where the same 5 people dominated the conversation while the rest of us sat at the edges. I chose round tables, equal seating, no head of the table. I selected a menu that included vegetarian, gluten-free, and kid-friendly options. I even added a dessert bar because why not? We deserved sweetness. The seating chart was the hardest part. I stared at the names, dragging them into place. I didn't want to be petty, but I also wasn't going to put myself next to people who'd spent years pretending I wasn't there. I placed myself at the center table, flanked by Daniel and my mother. My sister would sit across from me. Not beside me. Not behind me. Across, where she'd have to look me in the eye. The florist called the next morning. "Same arrangements as before?" "No," I said. "Let's go brighter. Less formal. More color." "Any particular flowers?" "Peonies. And sunflowers. Something cheerful." She paused. "You sound different." I smiled. "I feel different." The days leading up to the reunion passed quietly. No frantic texts. No passive-aggressive comments. My sister sent a few updates, short, respectful, and to the point. I responded when necessary. We weren't pretending to be best friends. We were learning how to be honest. The morning of the reunion, I woke up early. The sky was soft and gray, the kind of overcast that made colors pop. I took my time getting ready. I chose a deep emerald green dress. Simple, elegant, and bold. I pinned my hair up, added a pair of pearl earrings, and looked at myself in the mirror. "You're not invisible," I whispered. "Not today." I arrived at the venue an hour early. The staff greeted me by name. "Ms. Weston, everything's ready," the coordinator said. "Would you like to do a final walkthrough?" "Yes, please." I walked through the space slowly, taking in every detail. The welcome banner read, "Weston Family Reunion. Hosted by Evelyn." My name, in bold. No one could erase it now. The tables were set with white linens and gold-rimmed plates. The centerpieces were bursting with color: peonies, sunflowers, and sprigs of lavender. The dessert bar was already stocked with lemon tarts, chocolate mousse, and tiny fruit cups. It looked beautiful. It looked like me. Guests began to arrive. My cousin from Atlanta was the first. She hugged me tightly. "This place looks amazing," she said. "You really pulled it together." "Thank you," I said, meaning it. My aunt from Toronto handed me a small box. "Just a little thank you," she said. Inside was a silver bracelet with a tiny leaf charm. "For growth," she added. I nodded, touched. "It's lovely." My mother arrived next, walking slowly with her cane. She looked around, taking in the decorations, the layout, the banner. Then she looked at me. "You did all this?" she asked. "I did." She didn't say much. Just patted my hand and said, "It's beautiful." That was enough. My sister arrived last. She wore a navy dress and a cautious smile. She walked straight to me, hugged me gently, and whispered, "Thank you." I nodded. "Welcome." The atmosphere was different this time. People greeted me warmly. My name was mentioned in conversations. My seat was at the center table, not tucked away. I wasn't just present, I was visible. Lunch was served, and the room buzzed with laughter and stories. I watched my niece help her younger brother with his plate. I saw my cousin show off baby photos. I heard my uncle talk about his retirement plans. Felt like family. Not perfect, but real. Then came the moment I hadn't expected. My uncle, the one who always made jokes at my expense, leaned over and said, "You've got quite the dramatic flair, Evelyn." I looked at him calmly. "It's not drama, it's dignity." He blinked. "Fair enough." A cousin asked why I hadn't come to last year's gathering. I took a breath. "I wasn't invited." She frowned. "Really?" I nodded. "It happens more than you think." She didn't argue. She just said, "I'm glad you're here now." For once, my voice wasn't just heard, it was respected. Later in the afternoon, my sister stood up with a glass in hand. The room quieted. She cleared her throat, looked around, then looked at me. "I want to say something," she began. "To my sister, Evelyn." I froze. "She's the reason we're all here today. He planned it. He paid for it. He made it happen. But more than that, she taught me what grace looks like." The room went silent. Then came the applause. Not polite claps. Real, heartfelt applause. I didn't cry. But my heart did. That moment wasn't just an apology. It was a turning point. A bridge rebuilt, one word at a time. As the sun began to set, people started to leave. Hugs were exchanged. Photos were taken. Leftovers were packed. I walked to my car, the gravel crunching beneath my heels. Daniel, my nephew, caught up to me. "You changed everything," he said. I smiled. "I just stopped accepting less." He hugged me tightly. "I'm proud of you." I drove home with the windows down, the wind brushing against my face. The sky was streaked with orange and lavender. I felt calm. Whole. The reunion wasn't just a gathering. It was a reckoning. And I was finally, beautifully part of it. Not because I fought my way in, but because I stopped waiting for permission.